Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Data Standard Audio Experience. Today I have Amrutha Ajendra, the head of data management solutions at Vanguard, and we're speaking about challenges in data management and governance today. So welcome to the show, Amrutha. It's such a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Catherine. Same here.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on the show. And could you tell us more about your background and what kind of led you to your role today?
Absolutely. I'm just so excited to be a part of this conversation with you today. My background has pretty much been into banking and finance for the last 12 years, worked with industry, some of the best asset management firms, including JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. And I've also been a part of a consulting experience with Deloitte for the last 4 years. I just joined Vanguard as the head of data management solutions, overseeing data engineering, data quality stewardship, and product ownership as well. But yeah, the journey has been great. It's been pretty challenging, but very excited to be in this space, especially during this time when there is increased awareness and emphasis on data and analytics. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to just get a sense of more of the work that you do throughout our show today. The first question I kind of have is what is the importance of data and analytics literacy?
Sure, that's a great question. And it's very interesting because I do see that there is a real need to bring emphasis in this space, especially around data and analytics literacy. Two main areas where I think we need emphasis in data analytics is at the executive level, which is the leadership level, and at the analyst level or the sales rep level. So at the leadership level, we need literacy to educate the executive leaders on where to channel their investments and how to discuss data as a part of the strategic agenda so that we can bring the right emphasis around this topic and leaders can advocate and champion for it when required. And also another aspect is also to create awareness to enable deeper conversations and more meaningful conversations with the business. Traditionally, the only way we could track the success of a product launch is by looking at sales. But today, using natural language processing, you could track the customer's sentiment real time and iteratively repurpose your offerings and capabilities and be able to course correct your product offering and meet the customer needs iteratively. And the other aspect or the angle is at the sales rep or the analyst level. I think it's all about encouraging data-driven discussions, fact-based conversations that will instill confidence in making the right decision around where to channel your sales and marketing efforts or identify opportunities to cross-sell or drive campaign efforts to attract prospective clients, to know your client, the most revenue generating clients or the lowest revenue generating clients better so that you can direct and serve them accordingly and appropriately. So I think, that these are all areas where I see a huge impetus and requirement for data and analytics literacy.
Yeah, that's great. And what are some challenges that you have faced in data management and governance specifically?
Yeah, this is a very important question for today's times. And I will right now touch on three key areas of focus. One is data consolidation. Basically, data that is unaccounted for, which is data stored in Access databases or spreadsheets or PRMs and sales reps storing in client information in books outside of CRM systems because systems are either too clunky or it's very slow to adopt and not easy to adopt, etc. There could be multiple reasons to it. But when data does not flow through the mainstream systems, that kind of cause in our ability to generate accurate information, that cause gaps in our data streams. And because of this, it's often difficult to centralize our data quality efforts. And we tend to apply quality at disparate locations across the firm, increasing cost and resource requirement around managing and monitoring quality. The second aspect is the data consistency and interoperability. The biggest challenge across organizations is to report consistent numbers across different divisions, making sure we follow and how we can reconcile these numbers to a general ledger or a standard before it's actually reported to regulators or outside vendors so that we are generating consistent revenue numbers across divisions is very, very difficult today. So lack of interoperability is another big reason, because that's why we see so many data inconsistencies, because there are too many tools, they don't talk to each other, they're coming from various different vendors. It's making it very difficult to integrate systems and have a seamless data migration and integration from one system to another is extremely complex today. The third aspect is, of course, standardizing processes, roles, and behaviors across data management and governance and data analytics as a whole. When we have multiple data teams operating in a federated manner, this will have their own ways and means to ingest or transform and report the data. So this creates multiple versions of data management and governance practices. This can further make it harder to identify and have that single source of truth, resulting in complex gold copy management and redundant processes across organizations. So I think these are three key areas where I just wanted to touch on from a challenges standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your insight there. And with all of the work that you're doing with your team and just working on cross collaboration teams as well, how has the pandemic played a role in the evolution of data and analytics so far?
Pandemic, I think, has definitely, along with teaching us some life lessons around how to be empathetic towards each other, how to stand by each other, it has also increased emphasis on data and analytics and emphasis on modernization, digital transformation, and innovation today. A good example is the whole world witnessed how governments used data to track, manage, and curtail the pandemic. From the very beginning, the first thing we saw CDC did was to collect stats on how many hospitals are there, how many beds are available, how many oxygen cylinders are required, how many recovered, how many are being treated today. So pretty much every decision to effectively tackle pandemic was driven by data and insights. Every press conference showed updated numbers from Johns Hopkins. I think this was the most reliant and close to accurate and near real-time numbers that gave us some sense of direction to judiciously distribute and the necessary medical attention to most of the concerned areas. Data science, cognitive capabilities were used and have been used to create and distribute vaccines much faster than what we have ever seen before in the human race. So far, I think innovation and investment in this space was going at a steady pace, but pandemic has really accelerated this in a parabolic way. So I think the pandemic has clearly emphasized on how important data is, not just for handling critical, but also our day-to-day operations.
Absolutely. And the pandemic has really played a huge impact on everything. And it's so great to see how data science and analytics in general can really be able to help with the statistics of the pandemic and see, make predictions of where they see us in the next few months as well. So it's been very great to kind of see the outcome of everything kind of playing out. So how do you kind of see the future of data management growing within the next few years, especially with just technology advancing at this pace right now?
Yeah, I do see two key areas where there is definitely a huge impetus and growth for data management. One is in the data privacy, governance, and regulatory space. Growing emphasis on governing the access and use of personally identifiable sensitive data due to changing regulatory landscape. I think that has a huge scope and focus today. Every organization in some shape or form collects big data, and that is spanned across several disparate systems and processes, and are also used in large number of use cases across prescriptive analytics, visual dashboards, and advanced predictive AI/ML models. Therefore, I think governance is a huge challenge to determine where to focus and prioritize our efforts and investments in data governance, so that the right emphasis is brought to manage and access the PI-sensitive data today. So as we see regulations and legislations around the world is seeking to strike a balance between encouraging innovation on one hand and protecting individual rights on the other hand, it has become increasingly incumbent for business leaders to ensure their operations and policies are nimble enough to quickly adapt to a fluid fluid and having a more dynamic regulatory landscape. So that's definitely one aspect of it. The other is around modernization of operational and analytical use cases or analytical capabilities using cloud-based technologies. Traditionally, I think we had to maintain two different ecosystems for analytical and operational use cases because there was no easy way to scale up and down. There was very little flexibility. There was very little agility, and we could not decouple storage from compute. So we had to use two different ecosystems, one serving operational needs that's providing near real-time data, or that's providing much faster ecosystem to drive time to insights and time to markets, and another one with longer SLA that's serving analytical. But off late, I think with innovation and the demand and the business from the business has been so huge that with emerging cloud-based technologies that are very agile, scalable, and that are more resilient, a common data management principles can be used to provide one ecosystem for both analytical and operational use cases. So the two worlds are getting closer. The gap is definitely narrowing as we see on the onset of innovation and modernization in data management space.
Yeah, absolutely. And great insight in how you kind of see the future of it growing overall. And I wanted to say thank you so much, Amrutha, for joining us today on the show. We at the Data Standard, we're building a community of data experts and data enthusiasts just so everyone has a place where they can network and collaborate with each other. So what is something that the community can do for you?
I would love to see more opportunities, mainly for aspiring women leaders in data and analytics space across industry to connect and share ideas and perspectives on topics like evolution and maturity of data and analytics or need for collaboration and modernization in this space. And also, I think on general topics such as how pandemic has impacted women at workplace or impacted work-life balance or, well-being of people and how women can lead the way to an inclusive prosperity. So I think definitely more opportunities for all of us to network, to collaborate and share ideas and communicate and catch up with the pace at which innovation and modernization has been traveling today, I think will be a great aspect there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also trying to have more women in tech, women in data type of events. So I'll make sure to have you at the next event that we host then.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, where can everyone find you online to connect with you?
I'm definitely pretty active and available on LinkedIn. So I would definitely say that's the first way to connect with me. And then I could definitely share my email and we could connect more. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. And to our audience, for more information on the Data Standard, you can find us at www.datastandard.io, as well as on our LinkedIn and YouTube channel. And thank you so much, Amrutha, for joining us. It was so great to have more of your insight on just the future of data and where we are today. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Catherine. This has been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.